Hey there, vinyl community. My name's Tom. You're watching a video on the internet. I'm gonna take a stab at a thread that was started by Andy, Cloudy Milder, and go over my personal guidelines for record collecting. I'm gonna piece this together. It might take a few days or weeks or months or years because my thoughts are kind of scattered on it. It's all, my guidelines are kind of like second nature, but I don't have them written down, but I guess I'll share them as I go. Anyway, all right, guideline number one is I don't spend money on records. Since about the first of the year, and what I mean by this is I don't reach into my pocket and grab a card or cash to pay for records. I have plenty of records right now, and a significant amount of those records are records I don't listen to. So I turn those records into money, and that's the money that I use to buy new, to me, records. I don't, my collection for a while can be self-sustaining. And that's kind of what I'm doing with it. Until all the fat is trimmed out of it, I'm not reaching in my pocket and spending outside money, I guess, as it were, on records. Just focusing on the records I want to keep, keeping those, and trimming the fat, and the fat gets turned into money, and that's the money that gets spent on records. No new money. Things will change down the road, but for now, it's been that way since about the first of the year. That's how it's going to be. I want this collection to be a lot tighter. So what's the point of even having guidelines? Over time, my listening habit with vinyl records has become, when I'm listening to a vinyl record, I'm just listening to a vinyl record. I don't want to multitask. And because when I'm listening to a record, I'm just listening to a record, I probably don't listen to as many records in a given day as other people. I'm going to say I average about a record a day. So then it comes down to, if you think about it that way, how many records do I really need? Over the course of a year, if you listen to only a record once a year, that's 365 records. Now, what's the right number of records to have? Who knows? You really can't put a number on that. But I tell you, I've looked at, the Vinyl Factory. It's a website, vinylfactory.com. Every couple of weeks, it seems like they have a feature called Homegrown, where they feature, a collection, a short interview with somebody who's a record collector. And it's, a lot of people from around the world. And the thing that, the collections that capture me the most, for what it's worth, are the people with, I've been collecting for 20 years. How many records do you have? About 300. Like, what? And then I think about it, I'm like, man, the records that this person has have got to be just awesome, to them. It's just, the records they have really matter. It's not just this, hoarding thing going on, for lack of a better word. I know people aren't hoarders. Some people are hoarders, but everybody's listening habits are different. And because the number of records I listen to in a day is lower than probably other people, and I just find that there's a minimalist edge to me that says the things that you have should matter, and you shouldn't get caught. This is talking about me, because how you collect is your business. I'm really just talking about how I collect. But for me, the record should matter, and I just want to enjoy what I have. And for the records that I have, I want them to be, just killer records. And at this point, I've got a fair amount of filler. So kind of weeding those out and just making sure that the records that I have are the ones that I will listen to. I don't want to be a record storage person. I want to listen to my records. And it's funny, this is kind of going off on a tangent, but when does it ever stop me? I remember I was watching somebody else's video, and the kind of question came up of, do you play all your records, with the concept being maybe you have an older record, and that's your, for show copy, but your listening copy is a newer copy or what have you. And my attitude is just I just want to play the records. And if all my records are worn out by the time I die, I win. That's my philosophy. I have plenty of older records, but I have them to play. If the record is not a record I want to play, it doesn't need to be taking up space. Anyway, so guidelines, yeah. So I kind of need guidelines to just keep me in a mindset of if you're bringing something in, it doesn't matter, and of what you have, if it doesn't matter, get rid of it. But it's about just focusing on the records that are really important to me. It's a lot of babbling. Moving on. All right, here's a guideline for you. No ballads. Does a record have ballads on it? No ballads. I'm not a girl. All right, I'm kind of doing these as it comes to me, so here's another guideline for you. No reissues. I don't, I just don't listen to my reissues. Around the beginning of the year, I've been weeding them out. Around the beginning of the year, I think I calculated my collection was about 15% reissues. I'm looking on Discogs the last couple of weeks. I think I'm down to like just under 10%. I'm going to keep just weeding them out. I just don't listen to them. They just don't matter to me as much. Is that right? Is it wrong? I don't know. It's just me. I just don't dig reissues. There's always going to be a couple of exceptions. I've got... it was a country album, I think, Jimmy Carter and Dallas County Green. That's it's just the original is not out there, and it's way too expensive. Plus, it's not on CD. I got nothing against CDs. If it was on CD, I'd buy it on CD. But I have the vinyl reissue because that's the only way to listen to the music. It's just not on CD or cassette or anything. So that's why I have that. And if somebody gives me a gift and it happens to be a reissue. The bigger issue is that it's a gift. Somebody thought to give it to me, so I'm not getting rid of it. But other than that, when I'm buying something for myself, no reissues. All right, condition-wise, for the records I buy, and most of the records I buy are used, I want the media to be VG plus or better. Most of my records are probably VG plus. It doesn't matter if if there's hairline marks or what have you on the vinyl, as long as it doesn't cause a sound problem. For the rest of the record, I consider a vinyl record, the whole package is really kind of it's a whole. If it came with an insert, I want the insert. I want the cover to be in reasonable shape. I prefer it to be VG plus or better. If it's not, I can't put the cover on the turntable, but I want it to be all there, if not, the glossiest and shiniest condition. I don't like corner cuts. I don't like saw cuts, punch outs, any of that crap. I just kind of want it to look good, primarily sound good. Do I have a saw cut or two in my collection? Yeah, I've bought records from drunk before, but it's not a habit I make. At any given time, there's a bazillion records coming in front of my eyeballs that I might be interested in buying. And if I get tempted, I kind of default to the list of bands that I keep on my phone. I've got a little notepad list on my phone of bands that matter to me. And there's a lot of them. There's probably like 80, 90 bands listed there. And if I'm unsure, I'm like, this is an interesting record. For the most part, I'll go, is that a band on my list? Because I figure the bands that really matter to me are the records that I should have. There's gonna be exceptions. These are guidelines, not rules. But for the most part, if I get tempted and I'm unsure, I think to myself, let me take a look at my phone here. Is that a band I have listed on my phone? No? All right, well, let's keep it to that. Okay, to summarize, I don't reach into my pocket and spend money on records at this point in time. I only fund the purchase of records I do want by getting rid of records that I don't want. No ballads. Don't like ballads. No reissues. If I want a reissue, I just buy it on CD. Condition-wise, I like both the media and the sleeve and the contents of the sleeve to be VG plus or better if you're going by gold mine grading standards. I only buy bands that matter to me, and I know that sounds, commonsensical, but it's easy to get distracted. You see this new thing or that new thing. Somebody's showing a record in a video. You trust their taste, but it's like, I got these core things that I really want, and I kind of want to just stay focused on those. So anyway, those are my guidelines for buying records. Those are my guidelines. They're intended to apply to me. I'm a ridiculous person. In no way should my guidelines apply to you. You do you, and thanks for watching.